Tate House.
That's
and
correct.
We didn't really know who you
Well, it was
were.
like a year ago plus.
Well, a couple months ago. I can't remember.
It was October of
Yeah.
2022
And you were raving about
or
Bitcoin
2023. Sorry.
and how much it's going to change the world. What's your take on Bitcoin right now? It's up really high right now.
Yeah, I think when we were initially talking about Bitcoin, it was in the middle of the bear market.
Yeah.
We were just going through the whole FTX fiasco. We had a ton of situations take place with big scammers in crypto, and people tend to lose hope in the bear market. 95% of people end up leaving, but everything has a cycle. Everything has a boom and a bust, and if you're able to outlive the bear market, now you're able to celebrate the victories of all-time highs. So Bitcoin is interesting. Bitcoin is no longer what it used to be, which was seen as some sort of internet scam money or something that would just be used in the black market.
You said you bought your first BTC for $588. When did you do that?
2016.
Okay.
Yeah, 2016, bought my first Bitcoin. It was pretty good. At the time, I was working a regular job, so it wasn't to my own credit, you know.
How many did you buy?
It was about 3 Bitcoin. I was still a brokey back then. Before I got into e-commerce, was part of the 2017, 2018 bull run, but I made a ton of money, but I lost it all in the 2017, 2018 bull run. So I got back into e-commerce, did quite well in e-commerce, and then dumped all my money into crypto, famously, as most people know, into the 2021 bull run. That's kind of where I made my name, made multiple 8 figures there, and then cashed out. So was able to enjoy that. Now
You
was
cashed
able
out
to
in 2021 or 2022?
2021.
Okay.
And you were in Puerto Rico, right?
Now I'm in Puerto Rico, yeah, trying to save on those 0% capital gains taxes.
I feel like everyone's there. Logan Paul, you, some other guys in crypto as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of big crypto guys out there. It's quite the scene, but at the end of the day, you know, I like Puerto Rico simply because it allows me to also relax and disconnect from a lot of the craziness. Miami's fire. Every time I come to Miami, I'm like, bro, I gotta spend I gotta spend some months over here. But it's good, bro. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is here to stay. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. It's no longer digital money as people see it some sort of like tokenized toy. It's really the future of finance, and the ecosystem that's built around it is it's evolving. And the reason it's evolving is because the people that control the narrative are evolving. You know, the old people are out. The people that brought in the entire fiat system are slowly dying out, and people are realizing the scam of fiat. They're realizing the scam of fractionalized reserve banking, and they're realizing that the government printing money out of thin air is no longer serving us. So they're trying to flee to something else, and that's usually what takes place. And you know, it just happens to be Bitcoin, and it's working.
I mean, you're on point. We just seen RIP. I won't say what the P stands for. Someone just passed away, and he was a big contributor to the, you know, current marketplace that we're in right now. I won't say who it is though, but you know.
Oh, the Rothschild?
Yeah,
Jacob Rothschild?
Jacob Rothschild
Yeah.
passed away. Yeah.
So that was kind of
Interesting when a lot of people celebrate your death, huh?
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, I'll never celebrate someone's
I
death,
wouldn't,
but you know, the whole thing you mentioned, like fractional reserve banking, etc. You can thank them for that. They are the banking industry.
Yeah, I mean, in 1913, the banks got together, the heads of banks, J.P. Morgan amongst others, and they decided to pass the Federal Reserve Act, which gave the monetary power and the monetary policy to the Federal Reserve banks. Previous to that, banking institutions were kind of split into states or into smaller kind of ecosystems, but they wanted to nationalize everything to control it. So people don't seem to understand because we're born into it. But when you begin to realize that globalized money markets and globalized banking systems are a new phenomenon, you begin to ask, well, what existed before? You know, peer-to-peer transactions, bartering systems, small communities. And you could really be able to know how your money was moving, who was finessing you, who was keeping record of the books cleanly. But nowadays, everything is so confusing. Everything's so like odd. And the big thing that people are realizing is the fact that their purchasing power is going down.
Yeah.
People work extremely hard, but they can't seem to get out of the rat race. They can't seem to be able to make more money. And as soon as they make more money, here comes the U.S. government and prints $6 trillion out of thin air, gives hundreds of billions to foreign governments. And we're here just left supposed to work a 9-to-5 and have our 401k retirement that doesn't end up really working. So a lot of people are running away from these things, and they're trying to find safe havens in other places. And one of them are is Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when the government's running around doing stupid stuff with money and giving it billions upon billions of dollars to Ukraine or Israel or whatever it may be, it's like you got to take some of that back in your own hands and, have your own financial independence, because regular people can't even buy eggs or milk anymore. It's starting to get like crazy where they can't even buy groceries. And I found it very interesting. Tucker Carlson was in Russia, and while he was there, he did an interview with Putin, which I thought was a very interesting interview. We talked about it quite a bit with the Tate Bros. And when he was there, he went and bought some groceries, and his whole team estimated that it was going to cost them a couple $100 to buy groceries. It ended up he was able to buy way more groceries for cheaper,
way less,
in Russia.
Or the fact that they were told that there was no groceries and that there was a food shortage in Russia, and there's a lot of propaganda, dude. There's a lot of propaganda going on, and people are waking up to it. That's why you see a lot of censorship online, because they have to control the narrative, and the internet has just allowed freedom to be expressed. And shout out to the platforms that are allowing people to express alternative views that aren't necessarily mainstream.
Like Rumble, because they'll hit you with a misinformation thing if you talk about certain things immediately, and people have always said, oh yeah, like Russia's nothing more than an economic gas station, etc. But that's just simply not true. From people going over there, Moscow is thriving. You look at the train stations over there versus the train stations here in the United States and New York City. New York City is supposed to be like the beacon of like what a city should be in the world, right? Like everyone's like, I want to go to New York City, I want to go to Times Square, whatever. And then they go and look at the NYC subways, dangerous, dirty, decrepit, fucked up. And then you look at the ones in Moscow, it's like there's Christmas trees up, it's nice, there's ornaments everywhere. They don't got to worry about people stealing things.
We're forgetting the tunnels under the buildings.
Oh yeah, that too. In New York City, the tunnels as well. So it's like it's crazy, man. So real quick, so you said, okay, so you had a regular job in 2016, and you bought some Bitcoin, you took a chance, you bought like 3 Bitcoins, so $1,500 worth. That's crazy. That's the equivalent of like $150K now, right?
Dude.
No, like almost $200K actually, because it's like $60K right now.
If I'm not mistaken, right? Or 62.
Yeah, so about $180. Yeah. And then, what was your job back then in 2016?
So I started in 15. I was waiting tables. 2016, had a little marketing job, nothing serious. Mm-hmm. But in 2016, I was introduced to Bitcoin, which was my introduction to just the digital world.
Gotcha.
So from there, I got introduced to e-commerce. I got introduced to making money online. I got introduced.
Can you explain to the people what e-commerce is? Because some people like have heard it, but they don't necessarily know what it entails exactly.
Yeah, so e-commerce is, if you buy from Amazon, you're participating in what is electronic commerce. So electronic commerce is anything that has to do with buying and selling things online, products, services, goods. It doesn't just have to be physical, it can be digital. And it's where most people transact nowadays. As much as people don't like to believe it, when you go on Amazon, you're not buying from Amazon, the business. You're actually buying from individuals that list their products on Amazon. You have Shopify, which took off as a multi-billion-dollar company now, where people are now listing their products and selling them. You have drop shipping, which is basically your concept of arbitraging a product where you don't hold it and you sell it, and then you fulfill that order with the customer's money. So that became really popular for many years due to the fact that it's low cost. And now that Facebook and Instagram and TikTok rolled around, they give you access to advertising. So you can advertise products, so people are scrolling and they're able to see an ad. If they like the product, they resonate with it, they buy it. You have multi-billion-dollar companies popping out of thin air. You have the likes of Gymshark, for example, that we all know.
Yep.
I think they did over $500 million in revenue this last year.
Oh, wow.
Literally just building it from an online business. I think they opened up their first store in London recently, but it's a complete phenomenon.
I remember when they first started in like the early 2010s.
Exactly. So you're able to scale and build real businesses online, and that's why I call it the digital gold rush. You literally have the possibility and the ability to partake not just on the internet as a consumer, but as a producer, and being able to take advantage of where most people spend their time, which is on their phones. Yeah. Most people aren't spending their time walking in malls, right? Shopping. Most people are on the internet. So you need to go to where the attention is. I always say where attention goes, money flows.
Yeah.
So where the attention is, which is online, you can make money.
Yeah.
So you just have to figure out what is of interest to people, find that niche, find that winning group of people that you would consider selling to, and just sell them something that is beneficial to them.
Speaking of money, what is the best business you would say for this year to make money in? Best business model?
It depends. It depends on what you're interested in doing. You can be a content creator. I think that's a great possibility. I think social media is something that is changing. Mm-hmm. You know, I think a couple years ago, a lot of people were bitches to the algorithm. You know, they had to They had to post X amount of times to get engagement, or they had their Facebook group or their Facebook page. But now we
Hashtags too.
now we have the whole scenario that's taking place with the short form content. And short form content just allows you to go viral in a way that isn't, common.